Hello and welcome back to Bookish, and welcome to what may be my first book haul video ever. Just joking, I don't do book hauls on my channel. This is my May TBR, but I realized when I was putting together the ideas for this video that really all the books I have that I want to read this month are relatively new to me. I think I bought all of them this year. Kind of joking around thinking, well, you know, might as well call it a book haul because in a sense it is. But what I want to do in May is kind of just do what I call read whatever I want to. Now, this always makes it sound like I don't read what I want to the rest of the year, and that's not true. It's just the rest of the year here on BookTube is taken up with all kinds of reading events, and I like to participate in those. So I read, you know, along with the theme months lots of times. But 2 or 3 months a year, I really intentionally kind of stay away from that so that reading doesn't seem like a chore or an obligation that I have to fulfill, and I just read whatever I want to. And that's this month. And like lots of people probably here on BookTube, or I assume almost all of us, one of the things that that really gets me excited about reading a book is when I see other booktubers have read the book and enthused about it, or I see other booktubers talk about it. And so most of these books I've seen other booktubers talk about, and they're the inspiration for me wanting to read it. Now, so to go through what I'm going to read this month really quickly, I am going to participate in Misery May to the extent that I'm going to listen to the audiobook of Jude the Obscure by Thomas Hardy. And if you know, you know that I don't like Thomas Hardy, but I'm going to give it a shot. All for Scott over Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. I'm going to give it a shot and see what I think about it. So that'll be something I read probably throughout the month as I travel around and listen to on audio. The second book I want to make sure I mention here so I don't forget it is the only book that I have that's really an ebook, and that is Human Acts by the South Korean author Kang, who is far more famous for, I believe, her International Booker winning novel, The Vegetarian. But I was able to get this copy, or I was able to get Human Acts for like $1 on my Kindle, and well, I couldn't pass that up. So those are the first 2 books I want to read. By the way, I should tell you right now, these are books I don't, generally speaking, know a whole lot about, but I did want to talk about what I wanted to read, and I want to make a separate video for that. So I've already started reading Fire Rush by Jacqueline Crooks, which is on the short list now for the Women's Prize. I'm about 60 pages in, already kind of emotionally devastated, and really, really enjoying the writing, really savoring the writing itself. As much as I'm enjoying the story and the characters, the writing itself in this case is really drawn me in. If you don't know, it's set in part in the dubstep musical world of the late 70s or early 1980s in London and Jamaica, I believe, and that music plays a large role in the book, and it affects, at least in my mind, the rhythm, the writing, and the language, and it just really is has been a lovely reading experience so far, and I'm only on about page 70. But so I will finish that early this month. And then the rest is just kind of like books I want to read, books I hope to get to. There's only one really long book here, so I'm kind of hoping to have a really productive reading month and get through a lot of books. So just to go in from the top of the list, top of the books down, I have Kibogo by Scholastique, Mukasonga, a Rwandan author. I read Our Lady of the Nile by Mukasonga last year, I believe, and I don't remember who I saw talking about this, but I did see that people had buddy read this. I'm not sure, maybe it was Britta and Kim in the middle of the book march. There had been a buddy read of this, and neither one of the people who read it were actually that impressed with it, but I liked Our Lady of the Nile enough to give Mukasonga another chance, and this is also from one of my favorite independent publishers, Archipelago Press. I love these little books with very, and you can't see it, but a very kind of tactile cover, so I wanted to read that. Yesterday, or a couple days ago, I saw Jack, the Rambling Raccoon Tour, review and talk about another book by Eva Baltasar, and that made me want to get Boulder, which I bought yesterday, which was Saturday. I'm filming this on Sunday. I bought yesterday, Saturday, April 29th, which is Independent Bookstore Day. I bought this at the Brazos Bookstore in Houston. Pretty much, I think, my favorite independent bookstore there. This is Boulder, which I believe is on the short list for the Booker International Prize. This would be my only book, I believe, that I will have read before that prize is announced. So this is a nice short kind of novella, shorter than a novella length book. Looking forward to that. Have some idea what it's about because I've heard several people review it or talk about it, including Bob the Booker. I believe I've seen him talk about this. I may be getting this all wrong, but anyway, so I wanted to read that. I wanted to read I chose to read Sorrow and Bliss this month by Meg Mason. This is, I believe, was nominated for the Women's Award, the Booker International Award, something like that. And this was highly recommended by Scott over at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. It's just a really good book by a relatively young contemporary author that he liked, and it did sound kind of like my kind of book, so I wanted to read that. At long last, I'm getting around to starting the Murderbot Diaries series by Martha Wells by reading All Systems Red. This is not a lie. I have been listening at various points to Britta Bowler really talk about how much she likes these books, how much she likes the Murderbot for however long I've been on BookTube, and I've always said, oh, I want to read the Murderbot books. I want to read the Murderbot Diaries. And I never have. Yesterday, again, out on my quest to buy books, independent bookstore, we went to Murder by the Book here in Houston, and they had these hardback covers of the books, hardback editions, I should say, of the books. And I bought the first one, and I felt good buying the book because I've wanted to read it for a long time, and Britta, who I really respect, recommended it, and B, it let me help an independent bookstore a little bit by purchasing a book. I'm not sure that anybody recommended this book to me, but I have seen Sarah over at Eyes on Indie talk about The Sleeping Car Porter by Suzzette Mayr. This was on the long list, short list for the Republic of Consciousness Prize, the Republic of Consciousness North American Prize. And I believe Sarah read it and liked it. It wasn't her favorite book on the list, but it does seem like a book that I would like. It is about a sleeping car porter, an African American or black sleeping car porter, working on trains in Canada, and it kind of examines kind of the life of that kind of, a black man working on a railroad car during the time period in which, in the United States and in Canada too, racism was fairly common, having to deal with that. And then a book everybody has recommended for years, and that is Women Talking by Mariam Toews. This is one of those books where, because I think I just have somewhat of a contrarian nature, because so many people have said I should read it, I have not wanted to read it. Sometimes a book gets too much hype and I just ignore it. I say I'm not going to read it. This is one of those books I finally was able to find a copy for a really nice copy at a used bookstore, and I bought it, so I'm hoping to get to that this month. And then there is a book that's complete mystery to me, other than I saw Mark Nash over at his channel review this book relatively recently. It's Femme by Magda Carneci, translated from the Romanian by Sean Cotter. His description of this book, his review of this book was just incredible, powerful. I get a lot of great book recommendations from Mark, so I immediately ordered a copy, and it came in. This is published by Deep Vellum Press in Dallas, another another independent press. So I'm really looking forward to getting that and seeing if I like it as much as Mark. And then I've seen a number of people, I want to say again, Jack the Random Raconteur, recommend to me Tomb of Sand by Geetanjali Shree, translated by Daisy Rockwell from Hindi, I believe. This won the Booker International Award last year, and it is the longest book on my list. I'm a little bit, hopeful because the print seems to be big, and it seems to be one of those books has lots of chapters, and none of them are maybe particularly long. That usually increases my reading momentum. I think that's it. That's a lot of books. That's probably way more books than I'm going to get to. Yeah, that's like 10, 12 books. But I really am enthusiastic and looking forward to getting started on reading these books this month, and I'm hoping to have a really great month. If you've read any of these books, or if you recommended this book and I didn't say your name, please let me know in the comment section down below, or let me know what you think about any of these books in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you for watching.